Hello there, I'm Brooke, if we've never met before, and I'm a full-time artist. I've been making a living off of selling my paintings and prints for the past 9 years, the majority of which has been online. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because we have something in common, and that is we hate marketing our art. This is something that I have struggled with for most of my career, and today I want to share with you some things that I wish I knew way sooner. Things that have significantly helped me in my art business and have allowed me to have months like this. I feel like when you're an artist, marketing can feel a lot more challenging than other professions because it feels a little more personal and vulnerable. What you're selling is something that you created from your ideas and creativity and life experience and emotion, and so much of yourself goes into the work that honestly it just feels weird putting a price tag on it and asking for people to open their wallets. For years, I thought of marketing as the worst part of my job. I didn't want to have to convince people to buy my work, and whenever I put out promotional material like holiday sale or print release, I would feel bad about it, like I was annoying my audience. Those Instagram posts would get a fraction of the amount of likes, and somehow I felt kind of pathetic saying like,
"New painting, get it before it's gone."
I never considered myself a natural-born saleswoman, and I really struggled with feeling inauthentic and pushy whenever I tried to market my work. So I would try to avoid this whenever possible and just focus on the things that I actually liked doing, which was making the art and sharing the process. But over time, I came to realize 2 things. Number 1 is that I shouldn't feel bad about marketing my work. This is a really important lesson because marketing isn't just about making as much money as possible. It's a service to both you and your work. It's about being proud of what you made and wanting to share it with the world. I think that once you make this mindset shift and realize that what you're really doing is giving the work the recognition that it deserves, it can remove a lot of these negative feelings that we may have about marketing our art. Number 2 is that avoiding marketing by only sharing my art journey and my creations was also a form of marketing, whether I realized it or not. And I think this actually became one of my biggest superpowers, even if I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. A couple of years ago, I learned a term for this, and it has made marketing feel a lot more natural and authentic to me, and that is storytelling. When I Googled what is storytelling in the age of social media, this is what came up. Essentially, it's about building a relationship with your audience. You're sharing your experiences in your own voice so that people can relate and form a deeper connection with you. And you may be thinking,
okay, but how does this get me more art sales?
And that's a good question. So let me tell you a little story. A few weeks ago, I was at the studio, which I share with a bunch of other artists, and I was having a little chit chat with a couple of my friends. Dre said to Linda, "Wow, I saw the ceramic sculpture that you're working on. I love it. It's so beautiful." Linda said, "Thank you," and then asked a very interesting question, which was, "Do you think that you love the work because you know that I'm the one who made it?" In other words, without knowing Linda's story, would Dre still have this emotional response to the work? And that made us really think. I believe that we can all appreciate a beautiful piece of art when we see one, but when you know the artist's story and the motive behind the work, that's when you can form a real emotional connection to the piece. And buying art is an emotional experience. It's about relating to the artist or relating to the art itself, or both. If I think of any piece of art that I've purchased thus far in my life, this is true. I bought this little original painting from Linda because, yes, I like the colors in the painting itself, but mostly because I love my friend and it reminds me of her. I bought this limited edition print from my friend Guido, which I feel very emotionally connected to because it's a scene from my birthday/going away party when I left the studio to move back to Canada in 2021. I bought this limited edition print from my friend Ula, also before I moved back to Canada, because it reminded me so much of Vienna, where you could smoke inside up until 2019. And for me, leaving Vienna was such an emotional experience, and this piece of art really commemorated my time here. Surprise, I moved back. And I bought this poster from David Shrigley's online shop, not because I know him personally, but because it made me laugh, since I love sleeping in. In other words, I relate to it. But you don't really have any control over how your audience will respond to a singular piece of art. For example, if I was a big morning person and loved getting up early, I probably wouldn't have the same emotional response to Shrigley's poster and therefore would not have bought it. If I painted a butterfly, one person may say it reminds them of their grandma, while another person may say, I hate insects. So while you can't control if somebody will love or hate a particular work, what you can control is the story around the work and how people can relate to you as an artist. I have been sharing my journey since I started pursuing my art career in 2016, and I think that by sharing my story and my triumphs and failures, it's a way of inviting people to come along with me while also providing some value. I think that when people first like my work and then learn my personality and my values and my goals and aspirations, and that aligns with them, they want to support me and they want to see me succeed. So maybe they won't buy the butterfly painting, but maybe they'll buy the landscape or the still life, or they'll leave a super thanks in my YouTube comments. And honestly, when I started taking my YouTube channel more seriously, I did not expect it to result in more art sales. But it has, and that's why. I'm not only able to tell more detailed and colorful stories about my work, but I'm also able to share more of my personality, which allows me to build deeper connections with you guys. And in my opinion, that is the best way that you can market your work. So yeah, storytelling has been a game changer to me. And honestly, I could make an entire series about that, but I have more insight to share. So let's move on. I once heard a quote, by who, I don't know, but it said, in order to be found, you have to be findable, or something like that. And I think that this is really true when it comes to marketing your art. As artists, we're actually really lucky to be living in the digital age and the age of social media. There's so much less gatekeeping, and the possibilities of finding people who love our work are so much greater, and we can really use this to our advantage. But we have to be findable. And that's why I think it's really important to have, drumroll please, a website/online portfolio. So here I would like to introduce the sponsor of today's video, Framer, and also introduce to you a little series I'm working on called Brooke Makes Your Art Look Professional. Because I think it's so important to have a place here on the internet where people can see your work and learn more about you as an artist, I want to show you just how easy it is to build a professional looking homepage using Framer. I asked you guys on Instagram to submit your work to me so I could spotlight some artists for the series, and honestly, I got so many submissions. It was so hard to choose. But today we are going to be designing some super cool portfolio homepage variations for Salma El-Sharif, an Egyptian painter with a master's degree in art history, and I'm going to be using Framer's new feature, Design Pages, to do it. Design Pages is a free-form exploration-first canvas that instantly transforms into a real web page, and I'm going to use Wireframer to get started with it. What I find so helpful about Design Pages is that it lets you iterate on your web designs side by side directly in Framer, so you can compare multiple ideas and publish your favorite. It allows you to skip messy imports in HTML paste. You can design, iterate, collaborate, add breakpoints, and publish all in one place, and there's no additional cost. It's 100% free for all Framer users. So here we have 3 different designs, all presenting Salma's work in a professional way. So let me know which one is your favorite, and you can also check out more of Salma's work at A Brush of the Nile. Thank you so much to everybody who submitted their work to me, and also for so many kind words. Honestly, it was such a treat to read through all of your messages and see your beautiful art. And make sure that you tune in November for the next artist spotlight. It really is this easy to create your online portfolio with Framer. So click the link in the description and start exploring with Design Pages. And thank you to Framer for sponsoring this video. So my friends, when it comes to marketing your artwork, there is no one specific formula that's going to catapult you to success. Every artist is different, everyone's work is different, and therefore everybody's art business is going to be different. But when we only have so much time to dedicate to our marketing efforts, we want to make sure that it is going to be spent wisely. Earlier, we talked a lot about storytelling, and although social media platforms like Instagram are great for this, and it has undoubtedly helped me in my art career, there's also something to be said about putting all your eggs in one basket. Relying on one platform or another is risky business. Accounts get hacked and apps come and go, and I think that we can all relate to this feeling of having to constantly produce content to feed the algorithms and try and stand out amongst all the internet sludge out there. It's exhausting, and it's also not sustainable. One thing I think is very important to realize too is that the more subscribers or followers that you have does not automatically translate into more art sales. I have over 300,000 followers on Instagram, and probably less than 0.3% of that is actually paying customers. So we have to stop chasing these arbitrary numbers.
For the sake of our sanity.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's about quality, not quantity. Finding one person who is truly aligned with your work is better than finding 1,000 people who kinda are. And for the people who are truly aligned, we want to be able to speak directly to them and not have to scream over top of all these other people who are saturating these social media apps. And one of the best ways that we can do that is through a newsletter. Email is universal, and email is forever, baby. When it comes to online communication, it's the most reliable thing we have, and that makes it very valuable. When someone gives you their email, they're really interested in what you have to say. They're opening that one-on-one line of communication, and the best thing is that you own your email list, so you don't have to worry about these social media conglomerates ripping it out from underneath of you. And there's no algorithm standing in between you and your audience. I really value my newsletter subscribers. Whenever I have a shop update with new paintings, they're the first to know. They have 24-hour access to all the new work before it becomes available to the public. I only send out emails when there are shop updates or important news to share, which honestly is not that often. And so that way I'm not spamming people's inbox, and it's also not a ton of work and upkeep for me. So it's actually a really sustainable way for me to be marketing. And you may be thinking, well, besides social media, how do I get people to sign up for my newsletter? And that is also a good question. You're really filled with good questions today. I think the most important thing is to have a very clear newsletter sign up box on your website. You can also have a physical newsletter sign up sheet when you're doing in-person events like art fairs or festivals or shows or what have you. Honestly, I just have to recommend you watch this video by the Calm Creative. I came across this video the other day, and I think that she has a really healthy approach to marketing and can explain her whole marketing process really concisely, and it's great for people who want to avoid social media altogether. So I'll also link that video in the description. Anyway, before we wrap things up, I wanted to give you a few pieces of last-minute advice that I hope that you'll take with you on your art marketing journey. If you've been trying to market your work for a really long time and you're not seeing any results, something's wrong and something needs to change. Tim Packer, who mentored me before in my art career, has said before, you can't fix an art problem with business solutions, and I think that that's really true. It could be something to do with your art. It could be just the way that you're marketing. I remember someone recently commented on my YouTube video and was like, I've been posting every single day for the past 2 years and I'm still at 100 subscribers on YouTube. And I thought, what? Like, obviously something's not working with what you're doing. I don't know the situation because I don't know this person or their content or anything, but I think that everybody can kind of benefit from sitting down and just doing a self-audit of their business and seeing what are the things that are working for you, what are the things that are not, and what are different things that you could try. Next is that quality matters, and this is true whether you're writing a blog post or sending a newsletter or making a post on Instagram or making a video. It doesn't matter. People notice quality content when they see it, and I'm not just talking about, providing value. like this video, hopefully, but also visually, is the stuff that you're putting out pleasing to the eye? I have also said before that I think that it's worth investing in upgrading your equipment. Like, a good camera goes a long way, my friends. And just so you know, I leave all of the equipment that I use in the description of every video if you're interested. But sharing pixelated images of your art is not the impression that you want to give your potential client if making art sales is your goal. And lastly, if it feels wrong, try something else, because authenticity is the key to making marketing enjoyable for you and for your audience. For example, if your humor is a huge part of your personality, maybe you can try incorporating some jokes into your marketing. I don't know. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for a really long time. There were so many different things that I wanted to include in this video, so I hope that there were a few nuggets of information that you found helpful somewhere in there. And if you have any of your own marketing tips, then feel free to leave them in the comment section, because we're all learning here. As always, I really appreciate you spending this time with me. If you're interested in seeing more of my videos, consider subscribing to my channel. I upload every other Friday, and I share not only stuff about like business, but also about just like artistic life in general, some vlogs here and there, you know, some art making. It's fun, so check it out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm Brooke Cormier, and I'll see you next time.